Bigfoot right now, back on the radar at a Tampa Bay park.
He died here in 1978.
So you've got Gilbert the Ghost after you.
Gilbert the Ghost, yeah, great name.
Who are you gonna call?
To me, it look like a leprechaun to me. All I gotta do is look up in the tree. Who else in the leprechaun say yeah?
Is something really out there? 3 more U.S. senators received a classified briefing about UFOs at the Pentagon.
Others find it hard to believe and have come up with their own theories and explanations.
Could be a crackhead that got hold to the wrong stuff.
Oh, it's the most scariest, terrifying thing I've seen in my life. Seen in my life. Seen in my life. Seen in my life.
Welcome to Mysteriousnesses. Thanks for tuning in live on Twitch, guys, and thanks for everyone that's listening at home to the audio version. Welcome to the show. With me, as always, Lauren Lance and Hugh Carey.
What's going on, guys?
We're doing it.
It is our annual Halloween episode, and this year our feature segment is Divination. So if you're looking at the screen here, we got this whole, what is this, an altar that you have set up here?
The whole altar
We've
set
got
up.
an aesthetic, a divinatory aesthetic.
Yeah.
We've got a Ouija board here, we got a crystal ball, we got runes, we got tarot.
Hugh texted me today saying that he was going to bring his cauldron. I thought he was fucking with me.
I have a cauldron.
I know there's a cauldron right here.
I own several cauldrons.
Okay.
I used to run 2 metaphysical stores. I had online metaphysical shops, and I had a subscription box service, which all had to do with witchcraft and paganism. So I kind of have some of the shit.
He brought his travel cauldron.
This is
tonight.
It's the travel cauldron, yeah.
I go door to door selling runes and Ouija boards, and this is just for the aesthetic effect. But
it smells wonderful in here.
It smells like, I don't know, it smells almost like somebody was smoking crack earlier.
I love it.
That's
So
how
I
you
don't
make
know
the
what that
Ouija board
means.
work.
That's how you smoke crack.
You will see all of the ghosts in the world if you smoke. Just take a little hit of crack.
So that's the trick.
Well, yeah, that's what we're burning right now.
Yeah. I'm trying to like get ahead of the game. I'm trying flying ointment for the first time tonight.
Did
so
you?
that's fun.
That's the stuff that witches use?
Yeah, so everyone talks about witches riding brooms and flying on them, and that's actually not the truth. They never actually flew. The truth is that they use this ointment and they put it on the broomstick handle itself, and they fucked it, and it made them get high.
Spicy.
So I've got that same sort of ointment on my neck. And
why don't you put it on your snatch?
Me.
Well, I don't know you guys like that, so.
Well, I had to put it on her, and I just don't want to touch Lauren's snatch.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling.
Or any snatch.
Yeah, not in particular. But I put it on her neck. You're supposed to put on pulse points, and basically it's an entheogen made up of it's basically poison.
Yeah.
You willfully poisoned yourself.
I poisoned myself tonight.
Yeah. So the whole concept behind it is to kind of put you into like a trance-like state. If you're going to do any sort of like spiritual workings, meditation, divination, to kind of get you in touch with the astral realm and whatnot. So Lauren is the only one that has partaken. I have chosen not to.
Yeah. He read me the list of ingredients, and I was like, nah.
Yeah, so I haven't drank much at all today, which is surprising for anyone that's familiar with the podcast. So if I do start slurring, it's because I've poisoned myself. So that's something exciting for us all to get into.
And if I start slurring, I'm stroking out.
There's a demon inside of you.
It's from that crack we're burning in the cauldron.
Also, if you see me ducking down underneath the table, I'm not doing anything weird. That's where the soundboard is to make room for this altar of sorts.
Yeah, he's helping me out with that flying ointment.
It's on his finger right now.
I'm applying more ointment down into the downstairs region. Yeah.
That's why it's WAP.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah.
Wet ass ointment.
Witch ass pussy.
There you go.
All right, let's start with some science news before we get into the spooky stuff. NASA data confirms something is leaking out of Uranus.
It happens. What is it eating?
Anal leakage.
Have we tried Kegels yet?
Yeah, for one, you gotta be up on the Kegels.
Yeah, you gotta keep up on those Kegels.
I've been practicing.
I'm doing it right now.
Yeah.
Like I am Kegling.
Yeah, you can do it anytime.
Yeah.
It's easy to do.
I love that about Kegels.
If you're not Kegling, you're not trying.
Yeah.
I love to just look at a random group of people and just like think there's at least somebody Kegling
right then
in my presence.
Yeah. No, it's the ultimate power move. If anyone is mad at you, just start doing Kegels. Because you're like, yeah, I could ride that dick real hard.
Okay.
It's like,
I heard
it's a
that
great power move.
You can also pass a lie detector test
If
by
you do
doing.
Kegels.
I don't know if it's true, but I've heard. We all hear things, and I heard that's like one of the things that you're supposed to do.
Well, if I ever get in trouble, that's
So if
what
you
I'm
need to
gonna
tell a
do.
lie and you're hooked up on a lie detector test,
Kegels.
just think of Kegels.
So NASA researchers have reportedly come across a new finding from decades-old data gathered by Voyager 2. Revisiting the 3 decades-old data revealed that something appeared to have been sucking Uranus's atmosphere out into space.
Yeah, baby.
When the Voyager 2 flew within 50,600 miles of the mysterious seventh planet's cloud tops. So this finding, which was reported by the Geophysical Research Letters, raises new questions about the planet's one-of-a-kind magnetic environment.
My anus is a magnetic environment for
Yeah.
some things.
It attracts dudes.
That's what happens when you get a lot of piercings. Very magnetic.
NASA said in a statement released earlier this year, according to the agency, unbeknownst to the entire space physics community 34 years ago, Voyager 2 flew through a plasmoid, a giant magnetic bubble that may have been whisking Uranus's atmosphere out into space.
You gotta stop saying it like that.
Was that
How
like
else do you say Uranus?
Was that like a planetary hemorrhoid?
Yeah.
A plasmoid?
I remember in elementary school, the teacher told us it was pronounced Uranus.
Well,
nah,
yeah.
I'm not buying that.
No.
Yeah. We're going to pronounce it the way you taught us. We're going to sound it out, lady.
Uranus.
It's Uranus.
Yeah, I'm gonna pronounce it the way I was taught in school, which is in South Carolina, which was Uranus. Uranus.
Yeah, so apparently planetary atmospheres all over the solar system are leaking into space. For example, hydrogen escapes from Venus to join the solar wind, the continuous stream of particles escaping the sun, and Jupiter and Saturn eject globs of their electrically charged air. In fact, even our own home planet Earth experiences atmospheric leaking though the agency assures it will stick around for another billion years or so.
Well, that's nice.
We've
already lost Pluto.
So what you're telling me is that the planets are putting their essence out into the universe, and it may be affecting other parts of the universe. Is that what you're telling me?
I guess.
Planetary pheromones.
Yeah, exactly.
They're lusting for other gravitational
That's
bodies.
why Planet X is going to crash into us because it's smelling those pheromones.
Listen, you keep my Planet X far away from me, okay?
All right, moving on. Why is what is this? DICYANIN?
I believe it's DICYANIN dye.
DICYANIN dye illegal. So this is some interesting stuff that Hugh found.
This is true.
There was these goggles apparently that could see into the spirit realm. So you could buy these goggles back in the day that had this dye on them, and you could see people's auras.
Okay.
But there was a scientist that created a blue dye powder.
Right.
And if you go into the article, it'll talk about it. But yeah, and apparently you can't buy it. The government has banned it. It was legal for like a very short period, and then they banned it.
It was banned, and then I don't know. Anyway, many wonder why DICYANIN is highly restricted since it's not a drug. It isn't physically dangerous, nor is it poisonous. However, a skilled chemist with keen ability is able to synthesize the chemical with basic lab equipment. We need to find a chemist to make us this stuff.
It's like ghost meth.
Yeah, like how do you get it?
During the 1920s, a scientist by the name of Walter Kilner experimented with a chemical called dicyan. He placed the dye in between 2 glass panes and looked through it. What he found was the ability to see the aura of any person. Because of the dye's ability to block out the white light spectrum, it helped Kilner's ability to concentrate on the person's aura. So I guess so auras are a real thing. They're actually there, right? They can like take pictures of them and shit, right?
Yeah, but from what I've heard, that aura photography is like bullshit.
Oh, that's bullshit?
There's no like real science behind it.
It's just a camera that makes that effect.
Yeah.
Okay.
But at the same time, I mean, depending on what you believe, like I do think that we have this innate sense around us, for survival instincts to know, like pick up on things. So people would associate that with what you would consider to be your aura. And apparently the guy that had created this chemical compound is the one that actually coined the term aura in general.
Oh, really? So he was
him.
the one that made that label.
Yeah. So, Walter John Kilner, I believe was his name. Yeah.
Before the 1940s, private researchers were able to freely use this dye. During the same time frame, the U.S. government banned any use of the dye. In 2010, very briefly, the public was able to buy dicyan dye, but was quickly banned once again. When a government chemist was asked to see just how classified the dye was, the chemist found out that the company that creates the dye assigns a special code to its customers. The chemist also found out that his security code allowed him to buy all the LSD heroin, and cocaine he wanted, but it wasn't high enough in clearance to request dicyan.
I mean, how much worse could it be?
Yeah.
It's not poisonous.
If I was that scientist, I would be totally buying all the LSD,
Oh,
heroin,
yeah.
and cocaine that I could, right?
Exactly.
If I got that research job, I am totally stocking up on LSD.
The ye old government drugs shop.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole concept behind that is really interesting because I've never heard of this before. I actually just came across this.
Just the fact of it being that hard to get is questionable.
So what, do they just not want us to see into the spirit realm or something? Or does it show you something more than auras, maybe?
Well, if you go online and look up, like, more details of this other than just a couple articles that I found, like, people will show what they believe it happens, and it's like shit that's not there. So, like, I don't know, for instance, like a UFO or like a portal into another dimension. Now, I think that's like a bit much, but there may be something because, you know, like if you
You just
look
put on the
through-
goggles and you look up, and it's just wall-to-wall UFOs across the entire sky.
Yeah, that would,
something crazy like that.
I mean, but it's possible because we don't see the full magnetic spectrum.
Yeah, you put the goggles on and you're like, oh yeah, you're like straight into the Matrix.
It's like those,
it's DMT, but for your eyes, right?
Yeah,
It's like those glasses that Roddy Piper had in Alive, or They Live.
Yeah, that's it.
Put it on, like, oh shit, everybody's a fucking alien but me?
Yeah.
Or is it the same shit that Superman would use on his special glasses to see everybody through everybody's clothes? Didn't he have those, like, X-ray glasses?
No, he just has X-ray vision.
He had eyes.
Oh, yeah. So maybe his eyes are made of dicyan
His,
and
There you
dye.
his glasses didn't do anything.
No?
His
Yeah.
glass just made him
It was
look
just a
nerdy.
disguise, yeah.
I'm sure there's somebody in the Tampa Bay comedy community that could probably whip up a batch of this shit. So
Oh, no doubt.
There's got to be one of these guys.
Get
that-
on it, TBC.
There's always like a homeless guy that like went to college for chemistry that shows up at open mics and everybody just thinks he's a hobo, but really he's really smart. He could probably make it.
what's that guy's name that's always got the craziest stories? He goes to Pokies all the time.
I don't know.
Oh, Dan Steen?
Yeah, I bet
Dan
he's got
Steen's
some.
got
Dan
some.
Steen's probably
He's
got
probably
some.
got like a mound of it.
Well, that's why I haven't seen him in over a year.
Yeah, because you haven't used your dicyan and dye.
Exactly. That's the only way you can see him.
Right.
So moving on to some UFO stuff, U.S. Air Force General S. Quas states that there is a Stargate to transport beings from one world to another.
Finally, I loved that movie. So
Yeah, no, this is a real Stargate. So the recently retired U.S. Air Force Lieutenant General gave a lecture last month that seems to further signal that the next big battlefield will be space. Stephen Quast's lecture, which was held at the prestigious Hillsdale College, included comments that strongly suggest the possibility that the U.S. military and its industry partners have already developed next-generation technologies that have the potential to change drastically the aerospace field and human civilization.
I just have a quick question. If that college is so prestigious, how the fuck have I never heard of it? Have you heard of it, or am
There
I
you
just
are.
ignorant?
Nope, I haven't heard of it either.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
You have? Okay,
Yeah.
so
Alright.
don't mind me. I'm just
Yep,
ignorant.
I'm out. I'm dumb. I was focusing on other things.
Was not on my list of potential places I was going to go
Yeah,
to college.
don't
I don't think
me,
it's
I
a
was
party school, no.
Do they not have like an adjacent program at SPC?
Yeah, they don't
No?
have that.
Okay.
No? Okay.
No?
All right.
All right.
I'll keep looking at crystals. Never
Not
mind.
qualified then.
Yeah.
So, so you can check out this video in the show notes once the show goes up on the website.
That guy looks like a total nutbag.
He really does.
He really does. He kind of actually looks like if I had a little bit of hair
Yeah,
and
it could be it.
did a flat top and threw on that uniform, I could probably pass as that guy.
So at 12 minutes into the video, he somehow bizarrely states that the United States currently possesses revolutionary technologies that can make current aerospace capabilities obsolete.
Ooh.
The technology is on the engineering stage today, but most Americans and members of Congress haven't taken the time to really look into depth at what's happening there.
Yeah, we got to worry about these freaking crazy elitists in Hollywood eating babies and shit. We don't got time to deal with
The
technology.
adrenochrome crisis is real.
He basically
kidding.
said that they're working on a device that could transport any human being from any place on planet Earth to any other place in less than an hour.
Well, that's a massive claim. So
Yeah.
they've got to have their hands on something serious.
Also, why an hour?
Yeah.
If you have the capability to transfer something anywhere, what makes 60 minutes so pertinent
Maybe
to
it
the
needs
concept?
to break
That's a good
you. Maybe it
point.
needs to break you down, all your molecules completely down, and then reassemble them. You know?
Oh, are you talking like Star Trek?
Yeah, like Star
level?
Trek.
Yeah.
Because, even in Star Trek, they had some problems with that thing at first.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, wasn't there like a story with the Basset Hound that got like transferred to Moon or some shit?
Yeah, I think that was one of the stories.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about the Star Trek and stuff is like if you did get like there's a theory that like every time that you're booted up on that like you're a different copy of yourself, so like you die every time but you become another
Oh yeah,
copy.
that's a theory, like that movie with Hugh Jackman and Christian
Exactly,
Bale,
yeah.
where he would teleport himself and then murder the extra body.
Yeah.
Oh.
The first body dies and then the second body continues on. It's a perfect replica, so no one ever notices. And
So every time you go into the transporter, you die.
yeah, and the replica has no memory of dying, so there's no way to prove that through the transporter you die. Does that make sense? I mean,
No,
it doesn't
well,
make
I'm understanding this.
No, it doesn't.
I get
make
what you're
sense,
saying, but at the same time, I've never heard that theory.
Yeah.
So
That's one of them.
So they're associating death with the physical death of the body.
Yes.
In and of itself, and you're
Yeah.
somehow maintaining the essence of your being.
Yeah.
Okay, I can
Yeah.
get behind that.
So this has been like a conspiracy that's been going on for a while, like the whole Majestic 12 conspiracies and everything.
Oh,
that
God,
There's
that
like
thing.
Stargates that have existed here since before human civilization existed. They could transport you all around the galaxy. So just like that movie Stargate.
I feel like at this point, it's like becoming the ghetto bus of the universe because it's become so inundated with bullshit. It's like the PSTA of like the Milky Way. There's got to be much better ways to get around than through a Stargate. Like it just seems so. I would think they've progressed since the time they've created the Stargate.
Earth is definitely the Pasco County of the Milky Way. Like we're not really putting in the infrastructure that we need. We're leaving behind weird shit.
Yeah.
There's strange drugs everywhere.
We're
but
the
no one knows
dumpster
how to
behind
use it.
the truck stop of the
Exactly,
Milky
yeah.
Way. Like
Oh,
only reason to stop here is to get a blowjob, buy some DICYANIN dye from Dan Steen, and then to make us buy shit like Ouija boards and whatnot.
Yeah, and spend some time on the beach. That's all it is.
Yeah, we have great beaches.
Great
I will say
beaches.
the beaches are nice until we fully fuck that up too,
Yeah.
right?
I gotta turn down Hugh again.
Oh,
he's,
no,
he's very
man.
loud.
Limited time offer on the beaches.
He's had a lot of chances to turn that down, and now I'm being punished
I know. What's up with
a
this?
quarter of the way through the show.
Wow.
There we go. So there's a lot of heat. You're just giving off a lot of heat, Hugh.
I'm caffeinated.
Does
I
not
can't
You are
help
very
it. I am
caffeinated.
very caffeinated because I've been really fucking tired
That's
today.
true. I haven't.
No,
had
you're
any
very
caffeine this weekend.
mild
I'm
mannered
surprised
until the
on
camera
this.
comes on, and then you're just like, and then you're full personality.
Well, now I gotta really add a little pizzazz.
All right, let's move on to UFO spotted in New Jersey was apparently just the Goodyear blimp.
That makes perfect fucking sense. Like, come on.
I remember when this was first going around TikTok, and I remember looking at it and be like, I'm pretty sure that's the fucking
No,
Goodyear
I've
blimp.
never read a headline that felt more true than that.
Yeah, but the video of all the idiots on this interstate in New Jersey on the turnpike, if you look at the video, there is like miles of Guidos right down the main interstate.
Yo, dead ass, look. It's a fucking spaceship. Look, the whole street is fucking stopped. There's a fucking flying spaceship.
And it's like it's pure chaos.
Yo, dead ass. That's a spaceship.
Oh, dead ass, that's a spaceship.
This guy thought he was capturing history from the turnpike in New Jersey.
Yeah. So
If you
I don't even know what else to say about that.
The simplicity of life in New Jersey.
I mean, I get it.
love
Like from a distance, it kind of looks like it could be a UFO.
No,
or
that's
whatever.
definitely a blimp. You can tell.
I really wished it was a UFO, but at the same time, I also love the idea that for a very temporary moment in time, New Jersey was actually going to be known for something other than Chris Christie's fucking sick stomachs, Bruce Springsteen, and The Shore, right?
No way.
No, that's what you get.
That's its legacy.
I feel
That's
like
never going away.
that would have been a great legacy, like the first true mass, like accepted abduction or like like showing of the UFOs. That would have been great, and I saw it, and I really wanted it to be UFOs, but
No, or if you could think of a state where, like, say it's really gonna happen, like the first one that everyone agrees, like, this is real. Where, like, aside from like DC, like I feel like Washington is kind of the place where everyone's like, this is where it's gonna happen. Right?
People don't even believe things that are right in front of them. There could be
there's people that don't believe in COVID.
Yeah, nobody's gonna ever believe in UFOs.
I get
so the
that.
people that believe in them are gonna believe in them. But like, there could be one flying there, and people would be like,
follow
nah.
me this far. Like, okay, say that. Like, I'm not saying everyone. I'm saying like mass belief, right? Like a very obvious UFO where everyone's like, oh yeah, hundreds of thousands of people saw it. Where do you think that would take place?
New Jersey.
I would say Orlando. I would say Orlando, Florida. I would say it would happen there.
Why?
I just feel like that feels right. Doesn't it
Feels
feel like
right.
in your soul that feels right?
Like
I would feel it's just
yeah.
like a stunt by Disney. That's all I would think. I'd be like, wow, is that a new ride?
Alright, so it can't happen there, right? So maybe.
Well, if that was the case, we would know they have no ties to being Jewish because we all know Walt Disney's opinion on the Jews.
Oh God.
No.
This is a comedy podcast with some
But that's
supernatural bent.
historically accurate.
No,
I'm not saying
you're
anything
right.
bad.
No, you're totally right.
Let's see. Miley Cyrus and Demi Lovato reveal seeing aliens and UFOs.
We got cut off, Laura. We're not allowed to say anything
All
more
right,
about
this
that.
happened in L.A. It's already done. It was L.A.
Once Miley
all
Cyrus
along.
believes in it.
Dude, Miley Cyrus has done so much drugs. I mean,
She seems like a lot of fun.
she's a total Sag. She's a
Yes.
Sagittarius. And did you guys see her on Joe Rogan? When she
No.
did that? Oh my God, it was like crazy the whole interview. But yeah, she talks about like popping pills and doing shrooms at like 12 and shit.
Oh God.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna fully dive in head first into anything that she's saying, only because I have
Demi
some.
Lovato has a history with drugs.
Demi
too.
Lovato, yeah, she's a little fan of the heroin.
Yeah,
she likes to get a little of the white horse.
So
These two.
Miley Cyrus claimed in an interview that she had a close encounter with a UFO and locked eyes with an extraterrestrial pilot. But she's not the only celebrity to claims to have done that.
Yeah.
How does she know it was the pilot
I don't know.
and not just like a janitor on the ship?
She thought he was flying it with a stick, but really it's just a broom.
Yeah, well, and she was
Well,
probably on
he
shrooms.
told her that he was the pilot, and she believed it, and that was it.
Miley claims that she was traveling through Southern California with a friend when they were pursued by a flying snowplow. That's her quote.
Wow.
She said, I was driving through San Bernardino with my friend, and I got chased down by some sort of UFO and also bought weed wax from a guy in a van in front of a taco shop. So it could have been the weed wax.
This is the best.
From a guy in a van in front of a taco shop. I guess that's a good place to get weed wax, I guess.
Why not?
Here's the thing. I'm kind of wondering if the aliens were coming to take her out because they're just sick and tired of Miley Cyrus, and somehow that weed wax kept her alive.
That was it. That's
They're
all
coming
she
to end
needed.
it.
She said the best way to describe it is a flying snowplow. It had this big plow in the front of it, and it was glowing yellow. I did see it flying, and my friend saw it too.
They were on the same drugs, though.
She continued, it looked at me, and we made eye contact, and I think that's what really shook me, looking into the eyes of something that I couldn't quite wrap my head around. She added that she was almost shaken for a week after the close encounter. They might come back.
I kind of have that same feeling anytime I see her in one of her videos, to be honest.
Well, no, I was shook in, what was it, Mother's Daughter? I get shook every time I watch that.
Yeah,
I
maybe
like that
she's
video.
recreating that experience for us, but I don't know.
If that's it, then I'm into that experience.
Okay, just for some context, she also said that she was on her, I think she said she was on her dad's shoulders and they were riding a bike or on a horse and they ran into a tree branch and she hit her head and fell. So that's not in there, but it should be added.
Not the most stable of sources.
Yeah.
Is what you're
Who
saying.
hasn't hit their head 10 times as a kid?
I don't remember.
I don't remember. Fellow pop star Demi Lovato claims to have encounters with aliens too. Demi took to Instagram and wrote, UFOs, ET intelligence, and initiating peaceful contact with ET civilizations. I have also witnessed the most incredibly profound sightings both in the sky as well as feet away from me, accompanied but with blurry footage and stills of lights unknown origin from the California skies.
Dude, I gotta try heroin.
Yeah, let's do it. Apparently that white horse will let you see aliens.
If
so-
you go outside for long enough, just stare at the sky, like go out into the country or whatever, you'll see some shit. You'll see some UFOs or something.
I feel like I'm gonna have to go to San Bernardino's taco shop because that's where it's that's popping off
UFOs
over there.
are the only thing that are going to explain Miley Cyrus's mullet going on right now.
I love the mullet.
I love it
love the
too.
mullet. It's so cute on her.
It's very fun, right?
And, it's for posterity because she's, like, taking on what her father was notoriously known for.
Don't break my heart.
Yeah.
My achy
breaky heart.
What if they're the ones
heart.
providing her all the lyrics to her songs?
Aliens?
Yeah.
Oh, they're all a code.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be fun.
If you play them backwards.
We have the Snallygaster in cryptozoology.
Yeah.
This is one of the ones that Hugh found. Hugh, what did you just find, like a map of like all the localized ones, like all around the country or something?
So I'm a little lazy on occasion, and I found this map. I'm trying to keep up with you because I don't have my screen like we normally do. And I found this map, and it's a map of all the states and all of the known like cryptozoological animals that are associated with each state. And I can't. The Snallygaster is one of them. Which
This thing's fucking weird.
It's like a culmination of like 50 different cryptids.
Yeah, this is some weird Lewis Carroll shit.
It almost looks like Cthulhu a little bit because it supposedly has like 8 tentacles coming out of its mouth.
Yep.
I don't know. You got to read the article. I have to pull it up.
For centuries, a large winged beast known as the Snallygaster is said to have terrified people of Frederick County, Maryland. The dragon-like beast is described as being a half reptile and half bird that lives deep in the caves of South Mountain. The mysterious creature is said to swoop silently down from the sky, stealing farm animals and children from the unsuspecting farm folk. Some say it's real.
It looks like a scrotum where a testicle has been removed.
That's very
I mean, that's probably a really good depiction.
Yeah, with the face on the end. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
The area was settled by German immigrants beginning in the 1730s who called the creature a Schnellergeist, meaning quick spirit in German. So this thing they've seen it for a while.
Das ist der Schnellergeist, ja.
Was ist das?
The earliest
video?
The earliest folklore mixes the half-bird features with nightmarish features of demons and ghouls. Other descriptions describe the beast as half reptile, half bird with a metallic-like beak lined with razor-sharp teeth. Sometimes it's described as having octopus-like tentacles. The earliest stories claim that the monster sucked the blood of its victims.
Ooh, so tentacles and blood sucking. I'm turned on.
This is definitely a kink.
Yeah. For sure.
These Germans bring with them some crazy shit.
I think this is German wishful thinking. This is what I think it is.
This is like a third-party snuff film with cryptozoological animals.
The Schnellergeist going to tickle my pickle, yes.
The Snallygaster has one widely known enemy, the Dueo. The Dueo is reported to be a mammalian biped with features similar to a wolf, but the stance and stature of a human. So
it
like
is
a dog
a
person.
biped.
See? This is the
You gotta
representation.
look.
This is representation that we need.
Finally, the bi community is getting the recognition they deserve.
We're here. We're kind of queer.
You're half.
Don't worry. We're here. We're kind of queer. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. We don't feel like we belong either. It's fine.
The Dueo and the Snallygaster have reportedly had vicious encounters dating back to the early settlement of Middleton Valley.
And they were dating. See, we're looking
On
in
again,
between
off
the
again
lines.
lovers.
There it is.
For years, the Snallygaster lived only on the pages of folklore until 1909 when stories of the beast began to appear in newspapers. Encounters between local residents and the winged creature in February and March of 1909 described it as having enormous wings, a long pointed bill, claws like steel hooks, and an eye in the center of its forehead.
I don't like that.
Further, it was said to make screeches like a locomotive whistle.
That's how I have sex.
Whoop, whoop.
My safe word is Snallygaster.
Yeah.
A February 1909 article claimed that that a man had been seized by the winged creature, which proceeded to sink its teeth into the jugular and drain the body of blood before dropping it along a hillside.
All right.
The story was carried predominantly in Middleton, Maryland's Valley Register, and soon spread far and wide. So much so that the Smithsonian Institution offered a reward for the hide, and the U.S. President Teddy Roosevelt reportedly considered postponing an international trip to personally hunt the beast.
That is some America shit right there.
Well, Teddy Roosevelt always talks shit like that.
Yeah. Well, we always needed a scapegoat of some sort in America. So it's like, why not go hunt the Snallygaster?
Exactly.
That's hilarious. And then, look, in New Jersey. See, that's the other thing.
It's all coming back.
There's a common thread here.
It's a hotbed of stupid shit.
And people.
And people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm from Jersey, so I can say that.
I'm not. I'm just an asshole.
Yeah.
In New Jersey, so I can skip that part. A man in Casstown, Ohio, wrote a letter to the Valley Register telling of a strange creature that flew over his area making terrible screeching noises. He described it as having 2 huge wings, a large horny head, and a tail 20 feet long. You know what it kind of looks like? It kind of looks like that monster that's chasing them in the opening credits of Rick and Morty.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
It also looks like that dragon in Eureka's castle.
Yeah, it does.
Remember that dragon?
Mm-hmm.
What was his name?
I can't remember. I barely remember that show.
Yeah.
Eureka's castle.
In Maryland, it was first sighted by a man who operated a brick-burning kiln near Cumberland.
Magellan.
That's what it was.
Wow, my micro
Look at
fished
you.
that right out of my brain.
Boom! Magellan.
Info's in there somewhere.
Yeah.
He was spied near the kiln sleeping. When it awoke, it emitted a blood-curdling scream and angrily flew away. It was also sighted near Hagerstown, south of Middleton, at Lover's Leap, and seen flying over the mountains between Gaplin and Burkittsville, where it was reported to have laid another very large egg. The last sighting in Frederick County occurred in March 1909, where 3 men fought the creature outside a railroad station for nearly an hour and a half before chasing it into the woods.
So,
So people are talking about, like, fighting this thing.
Yeah, just
That's
fist
cool.
fighting. But it had razor teeth and tentacles and had only one known
one
enemy.
eye. And so, like, they were just, like, cool enough to be like, oh, we're going to fight. Like, they weren't scared of this thing. They were just, like, fist fighting this thing. That's wild.
I don't know. How's that flying ointment?
Well,
Your pupils are a little dilated.
Wow. Okay. So I guess it's doing really. I guess I don't realize how well it's doing, but maybe I'm gonna have to listen to this.
You are
later.
sweating and kind of swaying back and forth.
I have been like doing like a little swing.
Yeah, you're bumping the table. You're giving me seasickness when I'm reading
sorry,
this.
bro.
Don't trip her out.
So far, I feel fine. I might not be acting okay though.
Just don't try to stand up.
Or okay. Sounds like a deal. Woo. Yeah, no, this is weird because normally I would be drinking way more in this podcast, but yeah, no, now that you're talking about it, I hear the slur. Yeah,
So
I'm
it was
feeling
gone.
a
So
little bit.
so it was gone for about 20 years apparently, and that's so they assumed that it died off, and then that egg that it laid finally hatched.
Okay,
and
so
that's
here's
why it
where
came
I
back.
get lost. How do they know that it laid an egg?
Yeah, like why not take the egg?
And how is it a reptile? Because it is laying eggs.
That's true.
Maybe it just went on a sabbatical
Well,
to try to find itself.
It may not be a reptile. I mean, a platypus.
Maybe it accidentally is a dinosaur that accidentally traveled
but
from another dimension.
platypusi,
They lay eggs.
but they're not reptiles.
That's true. Or birds.
I just
They're
think the
mammals.
Snallygaster was having an eat, pray, love moment, went to Italy and wanted to just, do the whole Julia Roberts thing, get in touch with itself, and then come back and then fuck people's lives up again. Sometimes you have to do
That's
that.
what happens. You go and you do the eat, pray, love thing. You find yourself, and then you come back as toxic as ever. That's really how that goes. Yeah.
I mean, that's what Julia Roberts
That's
did,
what
right?
she did.
Julia Roberts is the Snallygaster, right?
So here's an interesting story. Apparently, after the next one came back, there was a moonshine distillery in Washington County, and it was the Snallygaster was above it, and it was overcome by the alcohol fumes coming from the still, and it fell into a 2,500-gallon vat of alcohol. Then revenue agents showed up, like the IRS agents, to destroy the alcohol, the anti-bootleggers, and they destroyed the still and then the carcass.
Not buying it.
I think that's true. I think that probably really happened.
Yeah. The Snallygaster is also a drunk. it's got a severe addiction to moonshine. And the thing is like when you're messing around with like cooking stuff like that down, can you imagine just some of the shit that they were seeing in general?
Yeah.
And then also there's always some sort of logical explanation for things like this.
Not always.
I mean, well,
if you saw that thing out in the backyard right now, you'd be like, yeah, you'd be convinced.
well, I would first
a
think I
giant
had
ball
some of that.
sack with one eye. Yeah, that would convince me for sure.
That sounds like my ex. No, it's fine. I don't know. What could be the logical explanation for it? Could it have been like a large bird that just had big talons and people were just, because there's always like there's like always the boogeyman concept. Like every society or like, in like the Spanish speaking countries, they have like the chupacabra and shit. It's like to keep kids in line. So the Germans are known for their fairy tales and their folklore and all that. So they probably just brought it with them. And it was just one of those things that, just turned into
Could be.
lore and legend. But
Or
it could
have been a
also
demon monster from hell itself. I want to give a shout out to Guts Lion Court for throwing us some bits. Thank you.
Oh,
and
is that
also,
a subscription?
Celestial Rain.
Oh, hey, Rain.
Hi, Rain.
She followed us. Thank you. Welcome back.
I forgot to tell everybody, if you subscribe to us, I will provide you a 1-card tarot reading And as a little thank you for
Yeah,
subscribing
you can
to the channel.
subscribe for $4.99, and that does help us buy things for the studio. We got Lauren a new microphone, and
It sounds beautiful.
we bought a lot
I
of
don't,
we,
but it
we bought a
does.
lot of robes. The robe budget, we kind of maxed out all our budget on robes
Yep.
for the
Yeah,
Monday night show. But so
yeah.
we need more subscriptions, so that helps.
Yeah.
We always want you following us on all of our social media. We have Instagram, we have Twitter, or do we have a Twitter?
Yeah.
We have a Twitter.
We
I
do
need
have
to-
a Twitter.
I need to follow.
We have our shit together
Okay.
here very
Yes.
much. We all are on the same page for sure.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
this is a clean running, smooth operation, right?
And check us out on Facebook. And remember, always check out our other shows here on the Something Planet Twitch channel. We're always doing something fun around here. So we love having you guys. I think that's good housekeeping. What else do I want to talk about?
It.
All right,
You
let's
had
get.
some, oh, I thought we were talking about shadow people.
I'm getting into shadow people.
Okay.
I just, I don't,
We have a-
they threw us some bits, and I wanted to shout that out because that's very nice.
Oh, yeah. And plus, we want to kind of also keep it moving because we're going to get into some
Yes.
really
Some
spooky
real
stuff.
So the term used to describe, basically, has anybody ever seen this? Like, you're just sitting there, and then you kind of like out of the corner of your eye, you see like a shadow,
Oh,
like
yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
in a room or whatever.
I've had this happen to me with sleep paralysis.
And it's also very common in sleep paralysis.
So the only time it's ever happened to me is because of sleep paralysis, and it was fucking terrifying. I was dreaming that I was in my bed, so it was already weird.
Yeah.
And then I was dreaming that it was in the morning, and then I saw this shadowy figure in like the entryway to my room. I blinked in my dream, and then it was all of a sudden next to me, and it had a sword in its hand, like it was gonna like
Yeah.
chop my head off. And then I woke up.
Oh.
But then I woke up into sleep paralysis and couldn't move. So I don't know if
was
I
it
was
still there when you were paralyzed?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know if I can differentiate between the two because it was so just chaotic and it was frightening. But I have had that happen to me with sleep paralysis, but not like consciously like seeing it in my presence. You know?
I've seen shadow people outside, like driving around. Like if I'm really tired driving around at night,
Okay.
I'll see them then. Yeah, like in like neighborhoods and stuff like that, where you can't really tell is that a tree shadow or is that a person in the yard? And it's real creepy.
Okay.
For sure. What about you?
I see this shit all the time, actually.
Yeah?
I got to turn you up.
So are you just really tired all the time?
Yeah, that's kind of part of it.
Yeah,
It's like I'm
okay.
always just
Very
like,
Like John is in a constant state of sleep paralysis,
Mm-hmm.
and you're not allowed to use that as your excuse anymore either. Now that it's out in the open.
I'm not paralyzed, but I feel like I can't move. Like none of these actions are mine. Like something else is doing this to me. I'm
it's-
possessed.
Yeah, you're possessed. It's the Snallygaster.
Yeah.
He needed to find a body.
No, I'm like with Lauren. I see him like driving and stuff like that sometimes. I've seen them in the house before.
With your direct vision or out of your peripheral?
Oh, with my direct vision.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, maybe this is not the thing to be doing in John's house right now.
Well, we've already decided this is what we're gonna do.
Well, you guys cleansed it pretty good.
We did.
Yeah, this bitch is cleansed. We cleansed it with every viable approach to spiritual practice, like incense, salt, sage, Forthies vinegar, black salt. So we're pretty much sealed.
Grave dirt.
So it's easy to chalk these experiences up to your eyes playing tricks on you or the reflection of a passing car, but countless people around the world have reported eerily similar sightings, some of them highly specific. Thus, the mystery of shadow people has captivated the minds of paranormal friends everywhere, or fiends. So what exactly are shadow people, and how real can they possibly be? The term for these beings was coined by author Heidi Hollis, who has penned several books on paranormal phenomena. Shadow people have been around since the beginning of our time and are a dark influence upon our society, Hollis said in an interview with Coast to Coast. It appears that these beings have in fact been around throughout history, as descriptions of shadowy, human-like figures have appeared in folklore dating back to ancient times. For example, the Quran mentions pitch-black sapient beings that aren't entirely spiritual or physical.
Would that be considered the jinn?
I think in the Quran they mention the jinn, so I don't know if that's
Which
exactly
is another
the same
word
thing.
for like genie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
People in ancient Europe reportedly believed that shadow beings desired blood and without it couldn't be reborn. And in modern times, reports from people claiming to have seen these beings themselves come from all over the world. Most of these shadow creatures appear through our periphery vision, and people who have seen them are often unable to describe in detail the features of these mystical entities apart from their human-like forms and occasional reports of fiery red eyes. Now, that's the one that I saw with my direct vision. It had red eyes.
Ooh, yikes.
I do have a story I could tell you real quick. Go ahead, John, with yours, and I'll tell you mine.
Ooh,
I've told this one on the show before, so go ahead.
Yeah.
No, have you?
I think so.
With
Well,
red-eyed
not.
shadow people?
Well,
Go ahead and just talk about it.
I'll do the quick version. I was a kid. I'd come home from school. I was in either middle school or high school. And whatever time I got home, there was nobody home. And I went towards one of the bedrooms, and I could see into the bedroom, and there was a chair in there, like one of those rocking recliner type of deals. And the chair slowly spun around, and there was a shadow person sitting in the chair with red eyes, and I was just like, fuck! And then I just ran out of the fucking house.
Yikes, yeah.
So, did anything happen after that?
No, I left and didn't come home until I knew other people would be home, and then I never saw it again.
That's crazy.
Yeah, for real.
That is frightening.
I almost fell over on myself, trying to get out of the house. I was escaping the house
so
in a
it
panic.
was very real to you.
It felt very real, yeah.
Yeah, I would have probably shit myself.
Yeah, seriously.
Because that's terrifying.
So what happened with you, Hugh?
Well, okay, so there were heavy psychedelics involved.
Fair enough.
I was when I went to Peru to do ayahuasca, we were all in the group room in the Maloca doing it, and we all had roommates, and your roommates wasn't allowed to sit next to you. And the lady that was sitting next to me, she had brought her son, who was having he was dealing with PTSD. He was in the military, and it was real dark. We were all halfway through the second trip, and I looked up and I looked to the right because her son started to freak out. He's losing his mind, going crazy. He's screaming. He's trying to leave the room. They're trying to get the shaman over there to calm him down.
Yeah,
They're covering him with sage and Florida water and shit. And I look over and I see, and I know I'm tripping, but I see these 3 dark, shadowy figures. And then I saw, one of them, there was 2 facing, away from me, and one was facing towards me. And I could see the one, and it had the red eyes. That just jolted my memory when you said red eyes.
Oh, wow.
So here's the crazy thing. So I can chalk that up to me being on drugs.
Sure.
But after he started screaming, he stopped screaming, and the moment he stopped screaming was the moment the things disappeared.
Oh.
And then, so wait, it gets even crazier. The next morning, you're supposed to share your experience, right? Well, he comes in and he tells the story of how he was freaking out because he kept seeing these demonic things around him.
Oh,
and
shit.
then my roommate, who I didn't even speak to him about this, he goes, yeah, I saw 3 black entities because he was next to him in the room.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, just because you're on a drug doesn't mean that what you're seeing isn't real.
Yeah.
So it would be easy to kind of just brush off if it was just me, but when he told me that, it really, and there was 3 of us involved, so it really did freak me out. But what's funny is the next day he said it was the most profound experience he had, and he's so glad that he had it. But the way it sounded from the room, he was trying to kill himself. He was actually screaming, I want to die, and I'm like, dude, chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought it was me freaking myself out.
Oh,
Well, a lot of times these shadow beings, like you said, the one where it gave you sleep paralysis with the sword or whatever, but a lot of times it's even scarier than that. A lot of times it'll be either a shadow person or the shadow hat man. Have you heard of this guy?
Yeah, the hat guy.
No, I haven't heard of the hat guy.
So this looks like a shadow person, but he's very obviously wearing a hat and trench coat.
Ooh, okay.
And he's usually more aggressive. So
It's
people
like
have had
the Babadook.
maybe something
that's
like
the
that.
vibe I'm getting.
So he always looks like he's very tall in old-fashioned clothing, but also a shadow. But it's flowing robes, and a lot of people will report them waking up, and he'll just be sitting on their chest or something.
Yikes.
And then they have sleep paralysis,
and that's a common trait with sleep paralysis. Either a man sitting on your chest, or sometimes people see a cat or an old woman.
or a hag. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this shit is scary. I'm glad I don't ever have the sleep paralysis thing.
It is,
because that would freak me out really bad.
It is,
especially
so
if I'm because we'll see tonight after we take our break here in a second. But there seems to be like entities like coming in and out of this house all the time.
This house
and I don't
is
think it's
very
always
active.
I don't think it's always the same ones either. I think it's just kind of like I don't know what it is about this place, but I think it just gets visited a lot.
No, this house is like definitely got like an open portal sort of situation because like yeah, there's a lot of things that have happened in this house and it doesn't seem to be like the same entity ever. I have theories that because you have a pretty quick running creek behind your house that maybe that has
well,
something
remember
to
when
do with
Rain
it.
was on too? She said she had mentioned that.
Yeah.
Rain was one of the. She's a medium and a psychic who was on one of our previous episodes.
You
I
can
don't know
say
if she's
hi to
still
her in
on.
the chat
Hey,
if you
Rain.
want.
But she had mentioned that too. That there, and then she said that there was stuff moving in your house while she was waiting to come on. Remember? She
Yeah.
said like spoons on the wall because there's like a rack of like,
yeah,
utensils.
there's stuff that moves all the time. Objects get hidden.
What was so? Leah was saying there was some stuff going on this week. Like what was going on?
She woke me up and said that she just saw the like a full apparition of a.
Was it a shadow person or like a ghost like?
No, it was like a ghost-like figure of like a little boy in old-timey clothes, like standing over the bed.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the thing I don't get. Like with the hauntings, why is it always like an
It's all
old-timey
old-timey.
ghost? Like why can't I get a stripper from like that died in a road rage
2
incident?
years ago.
Yeah, like in her. And I want to see her like glass heels and her little skimpy outfit. Like why
Maybe-
is that not haunting? me?
Yeah.
Maybe
That would be terrifying for me.
Maybe after you die, it's like remember it's like that movie Beetlejuice, and you got to go sit and wait in line for your chance at orientation, and it takes like 45 years, and then by the time you're released back as a ghost, your clothes are very old timey.
Oh, well,
That I mean
makes a lot of
that would
sense.
make sense.
It's gonna be something like
So,
that.
I'm gonna have to find something really obscure to wear when I die, so that way I can come back. Because these old timey ghosts, I mean, I give them an A for effort, but you're not scaring me in some pantaloons and
Yeah, you gotta come up with something weird or something that dates you specifically. So find like a band T-shirt from that year. Like
Yeah.
find like a band T-shirt, like a festival T-shirt with the year printed on it. So they
I'm
know
gonna die in a
exactly
Nickelback
when you're-
shirt.
Oh no!
like,
no,
oh
no.
man, that's terrible.
Oh,
You like
baby,
Nickelback?
no.
All right, let's take a quick
That's
break,
scary.
and then we'll come back with divination. So stick around. We're only gonna be gone for like a couple of minutes.
Just to pee.
Just to pee, just to get another drink, and then in our "You Believe in What" segment, apparently Finland isn't real.
Yeah.
Woo!
It's
All
a
Yeah,
right.
it's a
figment of our-
conspiracy.
One less country I need to know about.
It's Finland is apparently just a conspiracy for Russians to steal fish.
Have you really ever
Wow.
seen Finland with
I've
your
never
own
seen
two
it.
eyes?
I mean, I flew there.
I haven't. I've only ever heard about Finland.
well, here's the
so-
thing. You think you flew
No,
there.
they flew me to someplace else and told me it was Finland.
Yeah,
There you
that's
are.
the thing. You
That's the
were
thing.
you were lied
All the
to.
people in anyway, we'll get into it
Yeah,
at the end of
yeah,
the
yeah.
show. And then if we have time, we can go over some strange and creepy ghost stories from U.S. historic sites.
Nice.
So we'll be right back with some divination.
Spoopy stuff.
Oh no, that's the wrong thing. Hold on. I gotta play the other thing.
Just kidding. There it goes.
Welcome back.
Okay, I shouldn't have started with that.
And we're back.
Thanks for sticking with us through the break and those ads. Remember, tomorrow night is the Something Planet podcast, so come back tomorrow at 9:30 and see us again. We'll be having fun with the regular Something Planet crew, but right now we're going to be talking about divination.
Woo!
Divination. Lauren's flying.
I'm flying right now,
She
y'all.
is flying in the astral realm.
We talked about what this stuff is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, I am a little bit. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I am a little
All right.
bit.
Just a touch.
Just
a
a
skosh.
smidge. Yeah, a scotch. Yeah, I forgot we even described what this was. So, okay, cool.
Yeah. For those that did not tune in,
Yeah.
Lauren is on entheogens.
Yes, which is the
Poison.
Poison.
It's not well. All right.
Technically.
There's poison in it.
Disclaimer: we're not proponents of poisoning yourself. This is actually made for a specific purpose, and it's a mixture of balm of Gilead, belladonna, datura, henbane, mandrake, sunflower oil, pig fat,
Yes.
and beeswax. I think it's the pig fat that's
It's not
really
vegan.
Oh,
taking it.
I always get high on pig fat. What are you talking about?
That pig fat's taking it down the rabbit
It
hole.
makes me feel something.
Yeah, that's what it is. All that other shit's just extra.
I ate 2 Italian sausages the other day and passed out on the couch.
I ate 2
so.
Italians the other day and definitely passed out. So.
That's yeah, you were fine, John.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah, so divination is it's a spiritual practice that's been around since what? The beginning of humanity?
So divination is not a spiritual practice in and of itself.
Okay.
Divination is it's all right. I'm just gonna go over. I took some time to write up some notes for this.
Yeah.
So
You should publish these articles on the website.
They're really great.
Sure. Yeah. So basically, to understand why, first of all, we're coming up on Halloween, which is a secular holiday, which has roots stemming in paganism, and it's the pagan roots stem from the Sabbath called Samhain. And then to understand why divination is associated with Halloween, you must understand the historical significance of Samhain.
Yeah, what did they used to do for that?
Right. So basically, today, Halloween has become a mainstream secular holiday that stems from the old Celtic high Sabbath known as Samhain. Samhain is one of 8 Sabbats, also known as pagan holidays, that make up the neo-pagan Wheel of the Year.
Okay.
So the Wheel of the Year consists of 4 festivals that are rooted in old Celtic and Druidic practice.
Which is like everybody gets around the bonfire and then bangs each other.
Basically,
right?
yeah. And
it's a good old time.
Yeah, I mean, I do that more than 4 times a year.
You can do it more than 4 times, but
Why
you should do it at
limit
least
yourself?
4 times a
I
year.
have 4 excuses to do it based on my Celtic roots, right? So you have the 4 festivals that are based on that, and then there's 4 astronomical events that are widely observed throughout most cultures. So that would be the solstices and the equinoxes.
Okay.
Okay, and then and this was prior to Christianity taking hold. So these 8 holy festivals are predominantly based around agriculture and planting seasons, as well as, like I said, the astronomical events that take place. So the Wheel of the Year, which are these different holidays that our pagan ancestors would celebrate, is a representation of the cycle of life and death. Okay, so that kind of is where we're playing into where we're going next. So Samhain is by far considered one of the most important Sabbats observed both in modern and past pagan traditions. When translated from Gaelic, Samhain means summer's end.
Okay.
So the ancient Celts, Samhain
So
marked
this is
the end
like
of
the
the calendar
festival is
year.
like, hey, you better get all your crops pulled up and
Right. So it marked the end of the calendar year. and
winter is coming. As
basically,
Stargates
that is
said,
literally
yeah.
what it. Yeah. So it was a time for them to collect their final harvest, and it was a time to prepare for the coming of winter. And then back in those days when we were more of an agricultural society, pastoralists didn't have enough food to feed all of their grazing animals throughout the winter. So the minimum breeding stock was kept alive, and the rest of the animals were slaughtered and salted for their meats and hides.
Yeah.
Samhain was a time when killing and preserving was done, and it was not hard to imagine what a nervously critical occasion it was. Had the right breeding stock been selected...
Nervous for the cows, for sure.
Yeah, it sucked to be a cow. I mean, it sucks to be a cow in general. But
Tell
yeah.
me about it. I live that every day.
Exactly. So basically, they would kill off the livestock. They would keep some alive to breed the next year. They would select the final harvest. And then basically, what that symbolized to them is a time of uncertainty, right? So did they have enough food to prepare for the coming winter? Did they have enough, were there going to be enough things to keep people alive? Did they kill enough animals? Did they pick the right ones? So what they would do is that would be a time where they would practice what's called divination to try to find answers to the unknown.
Was the harvest large enough?
Yeah.
Right. And then if you had a really bad harvest, you knew you were going to have a bad winter. So that's kind of what played into it. So Samhain being the end of summer, it was the final harvest. And then with that comes death. And then during the dark time of the year, during winter and Yule, which is the Sabbath after, which is also the winter solstice, that was a symbolic representation of the death part of the year, the dark part of the year.
And we don't think about how terrible that must have been back then. Especially because, well, we live pretty close to the equator, so it doesn't stay that dark here. You know, like we still get good sun in the wintertime.
Right.
But like people in like Northern Europe or whatever.
Right, especially the Druids and the Celts.
Yeah. It was basically night for 4 months.
Right, and they didn't understand. I mean, they understood the concept of seasons and planting season and things like that.
But they didn't have street lights or anything. It was dark as hell.
Right, so they attributed that with the representation. It was representative of death. It was the dark half of the year. So they wanted to find they wanted to find ways to like see what was coming, which makes sense because you want to know who's going to die, you know, are these cows going to get us through or whatever, who's talking shit, you know, which god hates me this week, like there's all that.
Who's going to get married in the spring?
And what they would do is called divination. So divination in and of itself comes from the Latin word divinare, which means to foresee, to foretell, to predict, or to prophesize. And it depends. There's various forms and mediums of divination. So you could use, for instance, a crystal ball. You could use a talking board. You can use pennies. You could use poop, animal entrails.
Playing cards.
Anything that can be randomized.
Exactly. Randomized and
Dice.
then also interpreted.
Yes.
And then the person, you can come up with your own form of divination.
Yeah, you can just get all your Dungeons and Dragons dice. And
Yeah, I once took Cards Against Humanity cards, and I used them like tarot cards, and I had a blast. It was very snarky and super mean, but it was a lot of fun to do. I highly suggest it, actually.
I'm teetering on the idea of doing dick divination.
How does that work?
Your dick can tell the future?
Yeah, not mine. I have to read other
Oh, you want to look at the veins on it?
Yeah, so it's like palm reading, but for penises.
Oh, I think I think the better approach is the ball sack divination because it's so like creasy and stuff. You stretch it out and see what you find.
Stretch it out and see what you see.
That sounds painful,
You
yet
just take a look and be
possible.
like, that's the Virgin Mary.
Oh, Jesus is weeping.
You're gonna have a bare winter, dude. Yeah, so you could literally start that if you want. In fact, I think one of our past episodes we were talking about some lady that would read asparagus. It was called asparamancy.
Yeah. One time I read a thing about you find the closest book to you right now.
Bibliomancy.
Yes, and you turn to page 45, and whatever the first sentence on that page is relevant to your life. So if you're listening, give that a shot. Everybody's got a book around.
I've been doing that all my life, and I had no idea that was a thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's called bibliomancy.
I mean, I don't turn to page 45. I
No.
just open it.
My mother and all of the women before her used to do that with Bibles, where it was like, oh, I'm having a rough time. They would go to the family Bible, so like the biggest one, and they would open it up, and whatever they felt, whatever chapter or whatever sentence their eye hit first was supposed to be relevant. So that was a big thing in like Kentucky mountain magic. That was a thing.
That is, very low country, old Appalachian folk
That's
magic.
what they did.
So what do we got here? We got a scrying mirror.
So I brought a whole bunch of stuff. Before we go into like the different things that we're gonna mess around with, one of the things you have to realize is with divination, there has to be some sort of faith or belief in the fact that
it can work.
That it can work, and then also depending on your own personal spiritual route or how you look at things, you have to believe that events are foreseeable, but also not set in stone, right? So if you're getting a tarot card reading from somebody, they might tell you right then and there, like, this is the current situation, but you have or I should say most people need to come to the understanding of the free will to change that.
It's like you're on a highway and you can take a turn off at any point.
Right.
But if you continue on this highway, this is where you're going to end up. So you have the ability to say, all right, this is where I'm going. I don't like that, so I'm going to take a, exit off on I-95 or whatever. That's kind of how it goes.
Right. And I'm just going to read this quote from, there's a really good book called I don't know if anybody is going to read it, but it's one of my favorite books called Mastering Witchcraft by Paul Hewson. And he basically says the whole process of divination of the future rests on the approach that the understanding of the true nature of time is paradoxical. Although the future is already out there, the current does not feel that her actions are already doomed to one simple course by rigid predestination. The nearest approach to an explanation would be to say that each one of us, at every moment in time, confronts a series of different choices in action. One of these ways we will take for whatever reason. That way, as well as others, is already out there. However, be that as it may, we still have control over our own choice of actions. We can make the destiny out there become a good one or a bad one, depending on our varied talents, opportunities, and course of choices. So, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, you could have say a tarot reading done, and then based on that tarot reading, like, man, that seems pretty bad. I'm not going to go to work today, and then you've changed it.
Yeah, exactly.
So we've got various things here. I have a scrying mirror, and then I have some other information about scrying. I have my crystal ball. We brought the Ouija board, which is kind of controversial.
It's a little controversial, yeah.
What do you guys want to try first?
Let's talk about the ancillary things first, and then we'll...
yeah, let's talk about the scrying mirror.
And then we'll go hard on the Ouija board.
Because this is, like, one that I hadn't heard of until, like, I think Lauren told me about it a couple years ago.
Scrying mirrors are really fun. I've had limited experience, but really fun experience with them. My favorite time with a scrying mirror was actually Samhain of... this was 2015. This is about 5 years ago.
I'm going to get this out and show it to the camera, so you go ahead and keep talking.
And so me and the circle I was working with at the time, which if you're not familiar with that idea, it's like a circle is kind of like a coven, but a loose interpretation of such. Like you're not quite bound to
it's
that
like a potluck,
group.
but instead of food, it's
magic.
Magic.
Yeah, and like there is a lot of drinking and there is a lot of complaining about your husbands at home. That is pretty normal for a circle.
Slight inebriation.
Girls' night.
Yeah, it's girls' night with magic. But for one Samhain, we all got together and we all had scrying mirrors, and we all were kind of looking into it. And the intention was to see and greet our ancestors. That's what we were looking for at that point.
Did it work?
I didn't get much out of it that time, to be totally
Scrying
honest.
is something you really have to work on.
It's better when you do it alone, right?
So yeah, with scrying, because the psychological aspect there's a psychological aspect to it, and then depending on your own personal spiritual beliefs, it could also be supernatural. So the traditional way of scrying, you could use, there's different ways to do it. So you could use a black mirror like I have here in my lap. You could use a crystal ball. You could use a bowl of water. There's different ways to scry, and basically what you're doing is you're supposed to put yourself into like a trance-like state, and you're focusing in on a gaze, but it's almost like you're looking through whatever it is you're peering at. So for instance,
it's gonna be your face, though, right?
Right, but you're not like looking for things in particular. It's like if you're having like a 1,000-yard stare, for instance, like that's what you want to do when you're scrying. So you can use like your TV. When your TV's off, you could stare into that.
You can turn off your phone and use that.
It's a certain type of meditative state.
Exactly. So you're putting yourself into this trance-like state, and you're using a reflective surface. And what happens is, eventually your face will kind of fade away, and then if you're using a traditional black scrying mirror, you're supposed to have a candle lit or something with like incense with smoke, and then that will kind of play into what it is you're looking at and give you symbols and sigils or imagery, and then from there you can interpret what you see.
My favorite modern working with scrying mirrors, which I personally haven't done because it kind of freaks me out, but have you ever heard of the Three Kings ritual before?
No.
It's really fun. So basically you take 3 mirrors.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And then it's all black, and then you have one candle, and the 3 mirrors kind of play off of themselves. And look it up. It's one of my favorite like kind of internet rituals, which has come into like internet rituals is kind of like a new thing in the last like 15 years, and I'm really excited about it because I think we're all kind of creating really new exciting practices. Wow, this shit is really kicking in. Okay.
Oh no.
But no, like it's fascinating, and it's a modern version of scrying that I think is really cool. And one day I think we could do an episode on it, which would be really.
I mean,
fun.
we could literally spend time doing an episode on each of these things because there's thousands of books on every form of divination that we're talking about here. But with scrying, I don't do a whole lot of scrying. But I do like this mirror in particular, which is not a traditional scrying mirror. Is actually made out of black obsidian, and then this is actually just a picture frame that has been, the glass on it has been painted with a black coating. So if you're wanting to try scrying, John, I would normally say like have the lights dim. So if you're gonna try it, like just stare at yourself in the mirror.
It's like this is kind of something you do by yourself, right?
Well, you can have someone guide you. Like I could guide you afterwards, and like have you look at certain things, and then
But
a
it's
lot of times,
definitely the studio lighting is not gonna help
and plus
it out.
it's not good for the podcast because we're trying to explain a visual thing. But most of the time when people try scrying, like I had Kelly, Kelly Cry, him and Dree had come over to my house, and I was like, oh, I got a scrying mirror, you want to try it? And I actually did it with him, and he's like, yeah, I didn't like what I saw. And most people don't, because you see like that darker aspect of yourself,
Right.
and it is like tapping into your subconscious mind.
A lot of what I've read about scrying mirrors is that they are very good at shadow work.
Yes. Yes.
Which is
explain
difficult
that really quick.
magical workings.
It's the shit you suppress psychologically.
Okay.
So anything that you're holding back, it's a way of like tapping into that, and kind of shadow work is about looking at the nastier side of yourself and kind of reconciling that and dealing with it and dealing with inner trauma and all that stuff. So it's not fun, but it's very useful.
But if you think about it, you're putting yourself in a trance-like state, and then you're also like gazing, so you're allowing things from your subconscious mind to kind of come through and just depict visual interpretations on a mirror. So that's scrying in a nutshell.
Well, let's talk about some tarot cards now.
Okay.
Let's bust those things out. Let's actually, why don't you give a one-card reading to Guts Lion Court? All right, Guts, are you still there in the chat? Do you have a question that you want to ask Hugh? He'll do a one-card tarot
reading.
reading.
Let me pull up my cards, do a little shuffle real quick.
Yeah, if you're there still, Guts, then yeah, just ask a question in the chat.
Or anybody.
And if Guts isn't here, then I guess it's next person to
this is
ask
for
a
you.
question.
Oh, I'm excited. This is fun. This is the first time that we've done this.
Your cards are very big.
Thank you. I don't get that often.
It's a weird compliment, but okay.
We might need a stand for Hugh. Do you want a stand, Hugh, for the mic? Because nobody can hear you.
I'm good.
Okay.
I think we can manage.
Hugh
This
has
is just
a
like a
much
very
better shuffle than I have. I'm a
very
little jealous.
basic variation here. I have information on tarot in that thing if you want to talk about it. Tarot,
Yeah.
okay, so tarot kind of originated originally. Playing cards made its way from Asia
Now
into Egypt into Europe.
these cards were originally a game. We just don't remember how to play this game anymore.
Right. So
yeah,
tarot.
so there was a game that you could gamble with with these cards. But
That's originally what its intention was for. And there was 22 trumps in a. There's.
Yikes! That's way too many.
Yeah.
That's exactly 22 too many.
So in tarot, you have your major arcana and your minor arcana, and a lot of people don't know this, but the concept of playing cards and tarot kind of have a similar origin story as far as what, like the suits, like hearts, clubs, diamonds, spades. It's very similar to tarot, which is wands, swords, pentacles or discs, and cups. So for instance, cups would be hearts, wands would be clubs, spades would be swords, and diamonds would be pentacles.
There you are.
And then there's correspondences for each. But anyways, so
I've seen a Christian deck before where the pentacles were little communion wafers.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. It's tangible.
That makes sense. It's weird to me, but it makes sense.
Yeah, I am not.
Well, I guess if you're very Christian and you want to do tarot readings, like you're gonna be uncomfortable with pentacles, probably.
Yes. I mean, the concept of that is strange to me. I know that there are Christian witches. I know that's a thing.
Yeah, there always has been, I think.
It's very strange to me.
I have like literally a dissertation written up about tarot on our notes, but I don't want to go all into it because it's kind of boring. But if you really want to learn about tarot, the book I would recommend is called 78 Degrees of Wisdom by Rachel Pollack. This is an older version of the book, but it's probably one of the most referenced and most positively looked upon books about tarot. But anyway, so
and if you're an atheist or anything like that, like there's this whole there's the whole Jungian philosophy where it's like all of these methods. There's no magic going on. It's just looking into your own subconscious.
They're all archetypes to yourself.
Yeah, and then interpreting that in order to get some sort of benefit.
And that's one of my favorite ways to look at it. Actually, is just like. These are all archetypes. I actually look at like when you talk about magic and like a lot of like witchcraft where it's like gods and goddesses, the archetypes themselves I think are very useful, regardless of how you feel on a religious bent.
Right, and on a mundane level, literally tarot is just a story of life.
Okay.
From beginning to end, and that's how you could sum it up in a mundane way. All right, so I'm gonna pull a card. Who are we doing this for?
This is, Soap Daddy said. For one, he said his kid says you look real big tired.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I am very tired. Hence the coffee.
He said, how can I use this info to win the lotto?
You probably can't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't believe in the lottery, so...
Leah, who's hiding in the corner over here, she asks, will 2021 be better or worse than 2020?
All right, so let me just back it up a notch here. So I'm pulling a card for who? Soap Daddy? Are you Soap Daddy?
No, that's Leah. She's got her question.
Oh, Soap Daddy was just talking shit.
Yeah, will 2021 be better or worse than 2020?
Okay, so if we're just going to go by this one card, I will say yes.
Okay, well, that's good. What did we get?
So we got the 3 of Pentacles. So Pentacles represent tangible things, money, property, possessions, things of the earthly realm. And the 3 of Pentacles usually represents a third party or a group effort, a project. So 2 or more people coming together for a common purpose. And then on the card itself, which I'm using the Pamela Coleman Smith variation of tarot, which is a rendition of the Rider-Waite deck.
The Anna Nicole Smith version?
Yes, Anna Nicole Smith. There's it was made by the same people that did Trim Spa. Actually, they're the ones that did all the artwork. You just didn't know that.
It's just every card's an advertisement for Trim Spa.
And first of all, if you're going to bring up Anna Nicole Smith, just know I was a huge fan of her show, and I can tell you everything about her life. So that was not the reference to be bringing up while I'm trying to do this reading.
Well, that could be
I'm currently a huge fan of liposuction, so I'm totally down with
that can be our new podcast after the Halloween season. It's like we'll just start watching every episode of that show and analyzing it.
No, I think I should just become the next Anna Nicole Smith.
You got to marry a rich guy.
Yeah,
but you're gonna need a lot more flying ointment and maybe a little bit methadone.
I love this.
Yeah, you gotta be with a rich dude, not the guy you're currently with.
And he's gotta be really old because she was fucking that 9-year-old man and basically tried to take all of his money.
Hey, she earned that money.
Listen, if I feel like she deserves something for that effort she put in.
Back to
she got
divination.
pregnant by a 9-year-old man, dude.
That's talent.
That is talent.
Yeah, she held her legs up and held it in there. That's
that secret Texas sauce. Anyways, back to divination or tarot. So yes, just on a very basic 1-card reading level, I would say yes. There's a new foundation being built here. Now, whether or not that's a political foundation as far as our societal stance goes, or if it's between you and John,
it might just be a personal thing.
I think I would rather read this not in a collective way, but more so just for you guys. Yeah, so I feel like that there's some kind of group effort going on between the two of you and Leah, and then a third person. So and it's a financial endeavor.
Started raising ostriches.
Oh, well, yeah, that was my next card, is the ostrich card.
The high ostrich.
Yeah, it's the high ostrich.
Yeah, that's. I just want to retire to Louisiana and grow weed and raise ostriches. Is that too much to ask?
You got the Louisiana weed growing card too. It's all. See, you should be doing this.
You're
reading.
good to go.
John is already foreseeing the future. No, you actually did get the Judgment card in reverse, and then you got the 9 of Cups, which is you got that card.
I get that card all the time.
Last time I gave you a reading. But yeah, just in general, yes, I feel like Judgment. We're going to be dealing with some karmic retribution. There's we're having to recount for some of the shit we've done, and we're going to deal with it. I mean, that's how life is. But anyways, again, tarot is a story.
9 of Cups is nice.
Yeah, but in reference to this, yeah, I would say yeah. In this particular spread, I would say yeah. But normally, I always associate the 9 of Cups with gluttony, overindulgence. So that could just be, anyways, so that's tarot in a nutshell. It used to be a game. It started out as a game. It was something that they would use to gamble with, that the elites of Europe would, and especially in Italy, where it was originally came from. And then it's believed that the Romani people came in, learned how to, or got a hold of the cards and actually started using them for fortune-telling purposes.
Right, okay.
And then from there, it kind of has evolved. And then they changed the artwork on it. There's 3 different iterations or variations of the deck. So you have the Rider-Waite deck, which is what I'm kind of using here. You have the Thoth Tarot.
I have the Smith white one.
You have the same one as me.
Yeah.
Mine's just borderless. Yeah. And then, which is Aleister Crowley's version, and he basically, that's based on his Book of the Law.
Book of the Law and more Egyptian mythology.
Very ceremonial in nature. And then there's also other ones too. There's the Marseille Tarot, which is more traditionalist, purist, in the sense of like the lower cards did not have pictures on them, unlike the Rider-Waite deck. And then you have like other oracle decks that are similar.
Variations on that.
But they all kind of play into that.
But hey, you know what I would say as far as the question of will 2021 be better than 2020, even if you do interpret 9 of Cups as gluttony, compared to 2020 where there is no overindulgence whatsoever, we're all kind of having to stay in. Overindulgence might be nice in 2021.
I mean, if you look at it in a historical context, history does repeat itself. So if you look back in the 20s, like after the last plague, shit got awesome.
Shit got great, yeah.
It was popping. I read The Great Gatsby.
Yeah, that reading might mean like, oh, next year's going to be lit. Maybe a little
I'm
bit
hoping
too
so.
lit, but a little bit lit.
What else do we want to talk about? Do we want to talk about this crystal ball?
So, well, that was just about scrying. So the same
that's the
concept.
same thing, same concept as
Instead of
scrying.
looking in a mirror, you're looking at a ball. We
What
also
about these runes we got? And very nice. You brought us some gifts.
I brought you some free runes.
Yes,
Yeah.
these are awesome. I already put them in my bag because I'm so scared that I was going to get
You
too...
lose everything, yeah.
Well, I was really scared that I was going to get too high on this flying shit and then leave it, so I put it in my bag. But
So
we got the same
I have
thing.
those, and then the ones I gave you, which are kind of not as nice as this.
I like
set.
these.
No, they're nice, but the ones I have here
This
are
one's
a little bit
blank.
more-
Is that supposed to be blank?
There is going to be a blank rune in each set. So here's the thing. I can either just do the divination, we can like pull stuff, or I can give you information, but I can't do both. So like it's whatever you guys want me to discuss about the concepts.
Let's try it real quick, and then let's discuss what happened.
Yeah, we'll talk about, we'll do it, and then we'll kind of like piece apart what just went down.
So out of respect for what we're doing, because people will drag your ass if you don't say the right stuff.
Yeah.
I am not I'm not a rune reader. I don't do a lot of rune readings. I do have runes, and I'll read my own, but I am not one that is like fully coursed on the idea of runes. Now, the premise behind runes is this is actually where the English language comes from. It's a Germanic, Proto-Germanic, Nordic language, which has different representations and symbols that have different correspondences. So, for instance, one might represent cattle, which is like
And you gave us some
prosperity.
rune cards too.
Yeah, so the rune. Okay, so I used to run Sabbath Box, where we would do themed boxes every month for our subscribers, and we did a whole box on runes and rune reading, where I include all of the historical significance and context behind the runes.
Yeah, this is good.
We put in a book, and then we included those rune sets. But anyway, so like a basic way you can work with runes is you have your rune set in your bag, right? You put your hand in, you pull out 3 runes, or however you want to do one at a time. And then what I like to do, you can use a rune casting cloth, like a traditional white cloth, or you can just like throw them into a bowl and see what happens. Oh, that's interesting.
stood up.
That's
what's
weird.
that? What's that about?
So I'm just gonna recast
And
that.
I'm looking at the inverse of it
John,
right now.
can you?
Well, there's various significance to the way it shows.
So if you didn't see it, one of them, one went down on its face, one went up face up, and then the other one went down on the side.
Yeah, it landed straight up and down, which is weird.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, so I just cast these 3 runes, and then if you want to look at them, so I've got.
I zoomed in, but it's I don't think
Yeah,
they can see.
It's kind of hard. So if you guys want to look up for me what I've got, and then
Well, what was interesting is that the way that this bowl was facing was it was facing me.
Was the rune
like this, and then the rune landed like this,
Right.
facing me
Right.
in front of the same rune on the bowl.
That's wow. Okay.
I didn't
So
realize
look
that.
up that rune on the correspondence sheet.
Probably particular to you.
This
I
is
would
rune
think.
2, Uranus. meaning overcoming obstacles, strength, blank side, facing extreme odds against you.
Okay.
And
So
the tree is birch.
So yeah, with each so every symbol has has different correspondences and meanings and purposes. If you want to get like real in depth, a book I would recommend on that would be Futhark, A Handbook of Rune Magic by Edred Thorson. So without getting like too technical, there's 3 main types of runes that people will use. There's the Elder Futhark, the Younger Futhark, and then the Anglo-Saxon Futhork. What we're using is the Elder
Futhork.
Yeah.
So the one I felt attracted to was this other one. It kind of looks like I don't know if you had a 7 backwards. It's the only way. It's rune number 21.
Okay. And they are divided.
Lagoots,
Say it again.
Lagoots or
Okay.
lagoots, I
Yeah.
guess. And meaning growth, life, trusting your intuition. So
Okay.
that's the one I got.
Nice.
That's pretty good.
And then we have
And then
one
what's
that's
that one?
blank
So it's-
side.
Right. So that holds significance. So what was the rune itself?
This rune, if you're not into runes, it looks like the
Looks like
letter
an N.
Okay. And a lot of times it's pronounced the way it looks too, so it could be because each one is a different letter in the alphabet. That's
Right.
where our written language comes from.
Yeah, I saw like on the card you actually found a font that used runes to type out some of the stuff.
I would get a little extra with my
Actually-
You're a little
graphic
extra.
design.
You're a little extra
I
with
like
your graphic
to be
design.
extra.
It looks less. It's not an N. It's actually an H with like a side cross.
Okay, you can zoom in on it if you want.
Yeah, it's this one.
All right. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold it up, but yeah, I don't think they can see it.
It doesn't matter. It
All right,
yeah.
zoom up
So
and
that's
They
down.
get the
rune
concept.
number 9, Hagalaz, and then blank side means isolation or petty.
That's me, baby.
That's you.
That's me.
We each got one.
I am petty
One
as
for
fuck.
each of us.
So, all right. So, if we were to put that together in like a general context, you can kind of come up with like a story behind it. Now, this is literally just the basic fundamental premise of this. There is so much more into each of these divinatory aspects that, like I said, we could literally
But there's
spend
nothing to
hours on it.
say that you can't just go pick up your own bag of runes and start
Right.
reading runes on yourself.
I would recommend that if you're going to do that, buy a book to go along with it because
Yeah.
you're not going to know what the hell you're doing. But yeah, there's so many books out there. There's vendors that make this stuff. Like for instance, I got these runes were made for me by a company called Uranus Oddities. She also hand burned the bowl that goes with it. So
beautiful.
yeah, runes. And it is just obviously the main thing I forgot to add was that it is a Nordic. It stems from Nordic
Right.
paganism or Nordic practice from pre-Christian Norse mythology or history.
And then you also have the Oghams.
I brought same concept, but
Well, what do they
different
look like? I just want to see them.
Okay, so these are staves that are pneumatic.
They're
language.
stabs. Okay.
So yeah, instead of actual, I mean, you can make runes out of whatever, but these are supposed.
Because I've never heard of this one.
They're traditionally supposed to be made out of the corresponding tree wood that they go with.
That they represent.
But I had these made for Sabbath Box by a company, and they all just use the same wood. I think these are birch.
So this is just like a stick with a symbol on it.
Right. So they're staves, and if you look into Oghams and learn about them, it's a pneumatic language, which means it's symbolic. So each
Okay.
of these staves, there's different cross hatches, there's different information, or there's different sigils, and each sigil represents a different tree.
Okay.
So this is Celtic. This is a form of. It's actually like a Celtic alphabet, if you want to call it that, because the Druids and the Celts back
Now
in the
that
day,
I'm
they
thinking
didn't
about it,
really-
I think I saw a movie with like Merlin the Wizard in it, and he had like these in his pocket, and he was like throwing them around.
Yeah, so it's the same concept as runes. Only difference is it's Celtic in nature. The mythology that goes with it is Celtic. It's steeped in Celtic lore because that's where it came from. And they think that because they didn't write, the Druids didn't have written language because everything was spoken. But they believe that this was created back towards when the Roman Empire was coming in and trying to invade Ireland.
Yeah.
And they were using this as a secret way to communicate.
Okay.
So
that's cool.
So for instance, like a monadic language would be like on your knuckles. You do like January, February, March, April, May, June, July. So for instance, imagine these being different trees, and this tree means January, this tree means February, this one means March, and then the corresponding principles and lore, because it's all steeped in lore.
Okay.
So that's kind of
that.
what. And you can read Oghams the same way. It's another there's magical practices involved with it. So that's another one. And then we have a pendulum.
Pendulum board. What is that exactly? Is that something that swings?
Right. So a pendulum is using a pendulum is a form of dowsing. So if you ever heard of like dowsing,
I've done like dowsing rods and stuff.
same concept. So you're basically getting in tune with this specific energy. Some people believe that you're channeling maybe a spirit of sorts. And the idea of a pendulum is that you're supposed to basically ask yes or no questions. So you don't need a pendulum. Like this one here is made of amethyst and has the 7 chakras on here. But you could actually use anything. You could take a key and stick it on a piece of cord and use your key as a pendulum. And the idea is you're supposed to have something that's going to specify an answer to a question underneath of the pendulum. So like I have my pendulum board there, and there's like, what does it say? Yes, no, don't know, maybe. Yeah. And you ask the question.
You can do it on the Ouija board though too.
Yeah, actually you can.
Because it's yes or no.
Right. So like for instance, is Lauren gonna be knocked up within the next 6 months? Yeah, yes.
I really don't like this one.
No, I'm just like, is Hugh an old whore? Yeah, like yes. So the whole concept is that it's going to help you answer questions, and usually it's yes or no. Or you could also use it on an oracle, like a Ouija board, to spell stuff out. Again, to me, people find the Ouija board controversial because they say it's channeling. I don't look at using a pendulum or any form of divination any different than a Ouija board.
That's my opinion, is that divination is not evil or not. Like, it is based on the person that's using it.
We say that and the roof of the house comes off when we use the Ouija board.
That would be fucking awesome.
But like the form, like and I think that's the point of putting all these different forms of divination on the table here, is that this has been going on for centuries. Ouija boards are one of the newest versions of that. Not the newest.
It's pretty modern.
Modern as in the last couple
late
100 years.
Yeah.
And we will go forward and talk about what's
before we
newest.
mess with it. Yeah, because that's the one thing we were gonna do is mess around with the Ouija board a little bit. But yeah. So the Ouija board is relatively new in the sense of like scrying can be dated back. Runes are dated back thousands of years. Oghams go back like 1,700 years. But the Ouija board was originally created, I believe, in like 1848. And it was during like the big spiritualism boom. Yeah. That in America specifically, and Europe, that it kind of took over.
There's a lot of spiritualists, a lot of hucksters, a lot of weird shit going on.
Well, after all the wars and the plagues and all the shit that they were dealing with, they wanted to find a way to try to get to talk.
Yeah,
to
didn't
people
they lose
that
like
died.
10% of the human population like around that time, like with the war and then the
you had
pig
the
flu.
Civil War. And then before that, I mean, all those things I think brought us
Civil
to
War. Then you had World War I.
Right.
And then you had the Spanish flu.
So you had somebody, everyone had lost a friend or a family member that they desperately wanted to contact, and the spiritualist movement monopolized on that.
And being America, we're gonna
We're
sell
gonna
you
make
anything
some
that will.
money.
There's a sucker for every corner or on every street, but there's also a buyer for every market.
Exactly. And so the spiritualist movement booms. So you have all these people like, rigging up tables and stuff to do like
table tipping,
all that shit.
Right. But then if you look on from a non-mundane perspective, a lot of people use these tools in their spiritual practice, whether it be for, tarot in and of itself is, every time I use it, I am constantly just dumbfounded by the depth and detail and intricacy of the esoteric meanings behind it.
And the audacity of what they're trying to tell me.
Right. I mean, that tower card comes up every time, every reading for me.
The last year, back actually in October and early November of last year, I kept pulling the Death and Tower card nonstop. I had no idea why. I thought everything was normal. And
Death and Tower within the same reading. So, for instance, Death would represent change, and Tower represents shit's about to go crazy, like false premises.
Yeah, and so later in November, my husband left me for another woman, and I had no idea that was gonna be a thing. But I kept pulling that card. I had no idea why. Everything seemed normal, and then at the end of the month, I was like, "Oh, everything's gone to shit. I get this now." So don't ignore any tower cards in your
Well,
readings.
and then in pagan practice, because Samhain is so associated with the thinning of the veil, for instance, which is the ethereal curtain between the living and the dead, but it's believed that it's thinned during this time of the year, and people will use different forms of divination, and they believe that your ancestors can come through to assist you and help you with different things, and that's kind of how the Ouija board can kind of come into this, because people are skeptical
I say let's
with
do it. I say let's try it.
Okay,
go
so
in?
Who should we talk to? Who should we try to talk to?
Well, I
Just
think
anybody?
we should see if anyone's here.
I would ask if there's anyone here first, and then from there. Okay, so the way I like to do it is I like to find the phone number to the ghost, and I dial it up. No,
Wait, I was like, wait, what?
no. But
No,
yeah,
I can move in on the Ouija board.
Yeah,
and
let's
I think
move in. They're familiar with who we are.
what was the terminology? There's so much notes there, but there is the mundane terminology for why this works the way it works.
Oh, this was
I want to say idiosyncratic, but I know that's not right.
it was a idiomotor phenomenon.
There you
Idiomotor
are.
phenomenon, which is basically
It's basically just it's moving on it's moving based on
you think it's moving on its own,
On
but
its
it's
own,
a
but it's-
psychological.
it's our
effect.
subconscious is kind
And
of
I wanna-
vibrating us in the direction that we're
I
going.
want to put point this out to begin with before I reveal my hands. I used to get my nails done all the time, but because of COVID, I haven't gone
Oh,
to
is
a
that
salon.
why you were saying that you should have got your nails
Yeah,
done?
I'm really irritated with myself right
Well,
now.
Lauren's nails ratchet.
I can
Yeah.
only I can
look
only
like
do
shit, so
I can only do the one hand because I horribly mutilated my other
well,
fingers.
let's all do one hand.
You
and
guys
then
use your
we're-
hand, I'll use my tongue.
There you
Sounds like a
go.
Saturday night at Hugh's place.
Yeah.
You should see where that crystal ball's been.
All right, we ready to go? So let's see if there's anyone here.
All right. Yeah. So, all right, I'm not gonna move it.
Yeah,
I
John,
promise
are you ready?
I'm not gonna move
I gotta
it.
get my microphone out of the stand here, so I can get a little closer.
All right, yeah, get
Okay.
close. Let's get close in.
So we
Let's
just
just
put
Alright.
2 fingers on it,
Yep,
right?
2 fingers.
So-
Is
in.
there anyone here?
Is there anybody here? And it's not moving.
Nope.
Oh,
It's moving a little bit.
And nothing's happening.
it's not moving.
It's moving a little bit.
I'm not moving it.
I'm not moving
I'm
it.
Not, yeah, Lauren, stop moving.
I'm not though.
My fingers are barely even on it.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna lift my fingers up a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. Is there anyone here that would like to speak with us? This is like the fucking Twitch chat right now.
This is yeah, they're gonna call us the F word real quick.
All right. So just for fun and games, it's moving towards yes.
It is moving towards yes. Yeah.
Very
How-
slowly.
Very slowly. This is a weak ass ghost.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Ghost, I'm calling you out. You're not doing anything on this
Your
board.
caloric intake
Yeah.
needs up.
Should we ghost adventures this shit and just antagonize
not
the ghost?
antagonizing a
I'm not
ghost.
trying to
Not in
piss
my
off
house.
the ghost,
I'm sorry.
but
I thought that would be funny.
yeah. So
I
it's
kinda
moving
want
towards
to.
yes. It's gonna take forever. I've seen people use and they say like it goes like real fast.
Yeah,
and
I
moves around.
haven't-
I've
yeah.
done it when it has gone like that. Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So the last time I used a Ouija board, and this is a total coincidence, my friend's house burnt down.
Yikes.
Well, don't say that.
I'm
when
just
it's
saying.
a coincidence.
Well, that
if it's
has
a
to do
coincidence,
with it.
you don't have to bring
All
it
right,
up.
I'm gonna point this out though, John. You've got your palm like on the table. You might be like,
Am I blocking it?
yeah, you might be blocking it. Hugh, put
Are
your,
you ghost blocking?
Yeah, are you ghost blocking? Hugh, put your fingers on this.
I'm gonna put my pinky.
Why are you putting your finger on it? All right, yo, does anyone want to talk to us right
This
now?
is too slow.
Yeah, I think
We live in the age of the internet, okay, Ghost? Like this, you're gonna have to
Yeah,
text
wake
faster.
up,
right.
yo, bro.
So it's going to yes.
I'm
Here's
gonna
what
guess
I think
yes.
we should
I mean,
do.
the pointer is straight at yes. right?
Yeah, but here's what I think we should do. If we're going to try to communicate with something, I feel like that Necrophonic app would be better suited
Yeah.
for a podcast because it's audio rather than this.
All right,
and
let's try it. Let's try the
these
Necrophonic.
1800 ghosts over here are like,
All right,
Morse
so
coding it.
Spirits, ghosts, whatever the fuck is in this house. Let's get some talking going,
All
right?
So,
So this is what? This is a device. This is a new divination device, basically.
Yeah,
Modern.
I wouldn't call this divination.
This is like just communicating
This
with
is
ghosts.
Ghost
basically,
hunting.
yeah.
So this is the thing they have on the ghost shows where it like talks.
Right, and I'm going to download the app because I thought someone else had already downloaded it. So,
But this is my point exactly, and I think an excellent point to make on this podcast is that divination is not both old or new.
It's just human nature.
It's just human nature. We're constantly going to build these things. We now have them on apps on our phone.
Yeah, I mean, there's even tarot card apps now where you don't even have to have a deck of cards.
I use one every day.
I have 2 on my phone.
I have one on my phone. I have 3 different horoscope apps on my phone. Divination is not new. It's not old. It's just this is human nature.
It's not good. It's not evil.
Yeah, everyone wants to know what the fuck is going on because no one really knows, right?
Right.
So I think saying that the Ouija board is any more evil or dark as a divination tool is dumb.
The only thing I would add to that, though, is the reason why I think there's controversy with the Ouija board as opposed to other forms of divination is people are under the impression that you're acting as a channel for something to come into you to move this.
And I don't think anything's coming into me. I thought it was they're moving.
You're inviting entities in to make this work. And I think that's the problem that people have with this. Now, again, with my own train of thought and the way I look at divination as a whole, it's like if you're looking at it from that sort of perspective that there is a spiritual component helping these things come into fruition and manifesting these answers you're looking for,
well, that can get scary quick.
That can happen with any of this.
Yes.
I can have something come into me to, make the runes work or whatever. But anyway, so I got the Necrophonic app, and basically it's like a white noise maker.
Yeah, and then it makes words sometimes.
Yeah, so I've never used it, and I just spent $9.99 on it, so it better give me some goddamn results.
All right, let's do something cool.
All right, so I'm going to try to turn it on, and then this is where we could actually ask questions and hear what pops up, because this would be kind of creepy if some shit came through.
This could be really fun.
All right.
I will say, just to eat up time here, is I think the reason that people think it's channeling specifically because of the Ouija board, I think it does come back to the spiritualist movement. What did it just say?
It's all right. Is there anybody here?
Yikes.
I'm hearing stuff.
All right, this is fun. I'm putting both of my headphones
really hard
on.
to hear this. Did that say yes?
Yes.
It was a yes.
All right. What do you want to ask it?
Well, what is your purpose here? I don't know what it said.
If anybody in the chat can pick up what this is saying, because it's kind of hard.
Lame?
I mean, this
She
is
just called
kinda
you lame, yeah.
She's like, your
Wow.
podcast sucks.
Did we just get dissed by a ghost?
Dude, did the Astral Realm just talk trash to us?
I think so.
This is the YouTube comment section all over again. Dumb bitch.
Oh!
What it just said?
Whoa!
Wow.
Excuse me.
Did it say fart?
My headphones are... I can't really
All right,
hear.
ask it a specific question.
All right. What do we want to know?
Don't keep that away from the mic, because...
How long have you been here in this house? An hour?
Is that what you said? So that's the problem with this too, because it's like we're listening to it through other devices.
Keep one headphone off.
Okay. It's like going.
Yeah, it's definitely going.
See? No.
Are you from Florida? I don't know.
I don't
Did
think
you
that was
say
an answer.
Palm? I heard Palm, like Palm Harbor.
Nah, I didn't hear that.
All right, well.
Well, that's fun.
Hold on, no, let's ask it like some dumb questions.
I think we're gonna have to take some time out of our day and just make a video.
No,
of us doing
I
this.
want to ask it some dumb questions. Like okay.
You ask and I'll take my
Let's
headphones
ask some
off.
let's ask some dumb girly questions, right? Let's see. Will Hugh date anyone new this year?
Nope. Nothing. It shut up for the first time.
What did it say?
It's hard to make out some of the words.
You got to keep it close to that mic.
What did it say?
It did sound like it just said my name.
Hugh.
It just said dead. So I'm going to hope that means not me physically.
Yikes.
But my sex life is pretty much dead.
Let's see.
One more question. I gotta move on.
Ask a good dumb girl question for me.
I don't know. I don't know girl things.
Oh my god.
Well,
how did you die?
Yeah, how did you die?
The ghost, not me.
Say again? In the mic? Is that what it said?
Yikes.
We're gonna have to go back and re-examine.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go back and check the tape.
So
this is creepy.
You know what's really weird is I was doing a promo clip for one of our past episodes, and we actually heard something come in and say like something during the clip.
It was like an audio artifact.
Yeah, it was really creepy. It sounded like somebody was here. But anyways, this app's called Necrophonic. A lot of people are using it. It supposedly is generating white noise through various radio frequencies.
I don't know.
And, again, people probably aren't fans of this because it's kind of like the Ouija board. But we're going to play with this a little bit afterwards.
Oh,
just
yeah.
to see.
We definitely
I feel
are.
like if you actually hook this up to like a Bluetooth speaker that could make the sound louder or use headphones with it, you could make out what it's saying better. So
Right.
But yeah, I'm agreeing with the ghost. Like it is kind of lame.
Lame.
I mean, they're not wrong. So
all right, now it's time for You Believe in What?
What?
It's the Finland conspiracy.
I'm fine with this conspiracy.
The theory is in the Cold War era Japan. Japan and the Soviet Union supposedly shared a secret about a stretch of the Baltic Sea between the Soviet Union and Sweden. Around the mid-20th century, the two nations collectively spread the idea that there was a landmass known as Finland on the stretch of ocean to keep the good fishing between themselves. The Japanese were free to fish as much as they liked there without worrying about international laws so long as they give a share to Russia. As insane as it all sounds, conspiracy theorists have come up with a significant amount of evidence to back it up. Finland isn't a popular country that many people visit, so not many people can say they've seen it for themselves. They claim that the Trans-Siberian Railway was built to transport the catch from the Baltic Sea to Japan under the guise of Nokia hardware, which explains why Japan is the biggest importer of the brand's products, despite the fact that very few people in the country actually use them. So, Nokia is a Finnish cell phone technology company.
No, I've used a Nokia phone once. Like, come on.
Dude, I have a Nokia phone in my dresser drawer, and that battery is still probably at like 60%.
You could turn it on, and it would be like, full signal.
And then it's like, Finland is fake, by the way.
Yeah, by the way, this is bullshit. This is a fake phone.
Another claim is that social democrats are using Finland as an idealized model for how a liberal social democracy should be.
God damn it. All right, you showed me. This is a conspiracy.
It's just liberals.
This is
It's always the liberals.
These don't count. These don't count.
It was all part of the Clinton Foundation
No,
initiative.
these conservative
But what
conspiracy
about-
theories aren't even fun.
But what about the 5.5 million Finnish people themselves? And
Yeah,
the
what
thousands
about
who immigrate or visit Finland?
That's what I
The
think.
conspirators have thought about that answer too. Their claim is that the Finnish people, while believing that they live in Finland, are actually residing in small towns throughout Sweden, Estonia, and Russia in remote forested areas.
This sounds like Hitler's approach to Poland to me.
But what if you wanted to drive, like, what if you had a cousin on the other side of Finland and you're like, I'm going to go drive, and then what, like, just cardinal directions don't exist anymore?
Yeah, what? No, fuck this. I don't like this. I don't like the conservative conspiracy theories are always so stupid.
I don't even know if this is a conservative
Why
one.
is there
They're
even a
not
whole
even
ass
fun.
country that's fake?
Yeah,
we have
these
too much
aren't
time on
even
our
fun.
hands. I'm going to say this. That's where they're getting the adrenochrome from, and I'm just going to put that nail in the
The
coffin.
only thing that doesn't make sense about this is why would conservatives say that a country that is all white people doesn't exist? That's the only thing that doesn't make sense to me.
That's true.
This is like their homeland. Like,
Well, they're
they
saying
should
it's
be
Sweden.
worshiping this.
Here's the map. This is where Finland should be, but it's not really there. It's just ocean.
I hate this. This
I'm
is
gonna-
so stupid.
Here's the thing.
I'm
I
angered
can't say-
about this. This is stupid.
I can't say it's not true because I've never been to Finland.
No, I don't.
And even if you had, you just got tricked.
This is one of the ones where I'm like, there's no part of me that can agree.
Well, that's
with
why
this.
it belongs in this segment.
Yeah. Is there anything good that has come out of Finland aside from the concept of Nokia?
And
And
well,
like salted cod
So
or some
it says
shit.
that the theory.
You know I like salted
You
cod.
like your fish salty, baby.
It says this is from a Reddit poster in 2015, an anonymous user that said that he was taught weird things by his parents, and he was taught this by his parents in all seriousnesses. Sorry.
All
say it.
seriousnesses?
Ugh.
I
hate coining
grew
words
up.
because then I just start making other new words.
So I would think, piggybacking off what Lauren just said, the whole concept of like the superior white Nordic race, which is basically the Norwegian
That's
countries.
what they jack off to.
Yeah, like Finland and Sweden and Norway and Denmark, all that shit up there. Like that wouldn't be a conservative thing.
Yeah.
To say that doesn't exist.
So it doesn't make sense.
No, they're not saying it's a conservative thing. They're saying it was invented as like we want the world to be more liberal, to be a better liberal democracy. So we're going to show this as a perfect example of such.
But here's the thing: if you're using it as an example, then it fucking exists.
Yeah.
Right. Like if it's there and you're utilizing this, it's definitely.
No, I can't get on this one. Like there are some.
It's
you
a
believe
utopia in Estonia, in the forest. It's like that M. Night Shyamalan movie
utopia
where they're in the
in
nature
Estonia.
preserve.
Oh yeah. What was that called?
Shit.
The Village.
The Village. I was gonna
Dude,
say Mormons,
you
but
know
that
what's
wasn't right.
crazy? I went and saw that movie in the theater, and I was joking around with the person sitting next to me. I'm like, wouldn't it be hilarious if this whole thing was just made up and they actually were? I swear to God, I said this, and they were just literally in the woods somewhere, and this is some made up shit. I swear. And after the movie was over, I was like, he's like, you already saw this. I said, I swear to fucking God, I did not see it. So technically, M. Night Shyamalan is the.
He owes you money.
Yeah, he's the progenitor of the concept of fake Finland.
I mean, maybe there is no other country other than the United States. And M. Night Shyamalan
From the American perspective,
invited all of it. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I still think we all live in a simulation, so they could
Wow,
just
flying
type a line
potion.
of code, and Finland could reappear or could disappear and let people fish. It's
either which way, I don't give a shit. Fuck Finland.
All right, that's the show,
Hashtag
guys.
Fuck Finland.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for viewing us live. Everybody who was in the live chat, we totally appreciate. Please consider giving us a subscription. We'll be back tomorrow night with Something Planet.
Woo!
And check out our schedule for the rest of the month. We're doing all kinds of horror video games, streaming on Twitch and stuff like that. Maybe some watch parties. If you have Amazon Prime, you can watch a movie with us. We're going to be planning one of those soon. So make sure you give us a follow here on Twitch. Give us a subscribe on YouTube. And catch up on all our old episodes. And follow us on all social media.
And watch tomorrow night in case Lauren is now possessed by that thoughty ghost.
That's true. It could be inside me right now.
So thanks,
Jealous.
guys. Let's see. Here it is.